There are places on Earth where nature seems to challenge the planet itself, holding on to a delicate balance of life that has long been broken elsewhere. Madagascar is one of those rare refugees. But why did this island become such an exception? And could it one day turn into the last safe place on Earth? Let's begin. Enjoy the video. Madagascar feels like a piece torn out of the main path of evolution. Today it stands apart from Africa, but long ago it was once connected to it as part of the giant supercontinent Gondwana. About 160 million years ago, Madagascar began drifting away from the mainland, and millions of years later, it became fully isolated in the ocean. From that moment on, the island evolved on its own, without influence from other continents. And this long period of isolation is what made Madagascar so unique. While the rest of the world underwent ice ages, mass extinctions, and migrations of animals, Madagascar remained relatively stable. The climate didn't change dramatically, ecosystems didn't shift, and the species that lived here evolved slowly and calmly, without competition from large mainland predators. That is why the island became home to creatures found nowhere else: lemurs, fossas, ibex, and dozens of unusual and astonishing animals. Madagascar is often called a living laboratory of evolution, and it truly is. Many of the animals and plants here have preserved traits that disappeared from other continents millions of years ago. This island shows us what Earth's nature might have looked like if humans had not altered the planet so rapidly. Madagascar is a window into the past, but also a key to the future. It helps scientists understand how ecosystems can survive isolation and climate change. And to understand why this island may become one of the last safe havens on Earth, we must first understand what exactly it has preserved over millions of years. What makes Madagascar truly unique is not only its isolation, but who evolved because of it. There are very few places on the planet where nature developed so independently, without outside pressure. Madagascar is the clearest example of what evolution looks like when nothing interferes with it. More than 90% of the island's plants and animals are endemic. They exist only here. Imagine, lemurs, an entire group of primates, are found exclusively on this island. On the mainland, they were outcompeted long ago, but here they filled every ecological niche, from tiny species to large ones. That's why Madagascar has over 100 species of lemurs, each with its own behavior, diet, and way of life. Another example is the fossa. It looks like a mix of a cat, a mongoose, and a small cougar. It is the island's top predator, a species that evolved completely separately from all other large carnivores in the world. Under normal circumstances, such animals would be outcompeted by stronger predators, but Madagascar had none. Even plants evolved differently here. Many have exclusive partnerships with specific animals. One species may pollinate only one type of tree, and another may feed on only one type of fruit. Such highly specialized relationships have disappeared from many continents, but here, they survive. Madagascar is like a vast, open-air museum of evolution. Everything that vanished or changed elsewhere continues here. While global biodiversity shrinks, this island preserves systems that may be far more important than we realize. Ancient genetic lines, resilient species, and unique survival strategies. This is why scientists around the world pay close attention to Madagascar. Its ecosystems might help us understand how to protect life on Earth. If you look at climate data from recent decades, you'll notice something unusual. Most of the planet is becoming hotter, drier, and more unpredictable. But Madagascar is one of the few large regions where nature still maintains balance. And this is no coincidence. First, the island is surrounded by the ocean. It sounds simple, but the ocean softens extreme temperature swings. While continents heat up and cool down abruptly, Madagascar receives moderated, steady influence from ocean currents. Because of this, the island avoids the extreme shifts seen in Africa or Asia. Second, Madagascar's geography creates layered climates. The eastern coast receives humid winds from the Indian Ocean, bringing constant rain and lush forests. The central highlands are cool and almost alpine. The western side is dry and arid. This climate staircase keeps the island stable. If one area becomes too dry, another remains balanced. It's a rare natural protective mechanism. Third, Madagascar contains what scientists call climate refugia, areas untouched by strong winds or extreme shifts, where ancient ecosystems survived even global ice ages. These places serve as safe shelters for plants and animals when the world around them changes too quickly. And lastly, human impact here was historically much lower than on large continents. Although today the pressure is increasing, for thousands of years, Madagascar avoided heavy industrialization. As a result, many natural processes have remained intact. All of this makes Madagascar one of the most environmentally resilient places on Earth. And this resilience is exactly why some scientists consider it a potential last safe haven if global changes accelerate. But the island's greatest treasure lies deeper, in its genetics. Madagascar preserves ancient, nearly primordial DNA lineages found nowhere else. Scientists now view the island as a genetic vault that could become vital for the future of humanity. Species that evolve for long periods in isolation accumulate unique adaptations. Some lemur species developed unusual immune systems, resistant to infections deadly for other animals. Certain plants contain compounds that suppress tumor growth. In fact, a number of anti-cancer drugs are based on Madagascan plants. The fossa, the island's main predator, displays remarkable neurological flexibility that fascinates researchers. Many insects and plants here form incredible symbiotic relationships that inspire new biotechnologies in medicine, agriculture, and even energy. Why does this matter? Because on most continents, such ancient lineages have vanished. Ecosystems collapsed, species went extinct, and their genetic tools disappeared forever. Madagascar preserved them thanks to its isolation and stable climate. That's why scientific organizations consider the island a key research area for understanding disease resistance, climate adaptation, sustainable agriculture, and new biological materials. If global environmental decline accelerates, genetic refuges like Madagascar could become essential for restoring ecosystems. The island also contains some of the last untouched time machine zones, areas that have remained unchanged for millions of years. The Masawala rainforest stays humid year-round and shelters plants long extinct elsewhere. Ancient ferns, primitive conifers, and trees resembling those from before humans existed. Animals there behave differently, more calmly, living in stable groups as if time moves slower. The Andringitra Mountains hold plant species found only at certain elevations, many unchanged for tens of millions of years. Caves in the Tsaratanana region house glowing insects and spiders, whose behavior suggests evolution barely touched them. For biologists, such places are priceless, living archives of Earth's deep past. They show how nature looked before humans and how it can recover if given safety. But despite its resilience, Madagascar is now at risk. Ironically, the island that survived global catastrophes for millions of years is now threatened by human activity faster than nature can adapt. Deforestation is the biggest problem. A century ago, Madagascar was almost entirely covered in forest. Today, half of it is gone. Locals burn land for farming because it's their only option for food. Entire ecosystems disappear in a single season, along with species found nowhere else. Poaching is another threat. Lemurs, chameleons, and rare birds are caught for illegal trade. Many species reproduce slowly and have small populations, so even minor hunting pressure can wipe them out. Invasive species, cats, dogs, and rats, destroy native fauna unprepared for such predators. And climate change intensifies storms, droughts, and fires. Madagascar's nature is strong, but not limitless. If these threats continue, the island risks losing the uniqueness that made it a natural refuge for millions of years. Yet Madagascar is more than just rare animals and forests. Its value goes far beyond biology. It is one of Earth's last natural insurance policies. As environmental crises grow, places like Madagascar may help the world recover. Its ancient genetic diversity contains solutions for medicine, agriculture, and climate adaptation. Its preserved ecological networks show how stable ecosystems function. Its climate resilience demonstrates that natural balance is still possible, and its ability to regenerate may guide restoration efforts worldwide. Today, Madagascar stands at a crossroads, one of the last places where nature still resists global change, and at the same time, one of the most fragile. Its future depends not only on scientists and governments, but on awareness and attention from people everywhere. If managed correctly, Madagascar could become a model for preserving nature in the 21st century. But if destruction continues, the island may lose its uniqueness faster than we imagine, taking with it a living chapter of Earth's history. So the question now is, will Madagascar preserve its uniqueness, or is time working against it? Share your thoughts in the comments. It truly matters. Thank you for watching. Protect nature, and see you in the next video.